Welcome. What a historic day to be here. Thank you for coming and participating in this groundbreaking. We have several here with us live, and we have many live virtually that are watching from everywhere else, both on the AGC website. We're going to lose that sign, and on our live stream on YouTube. So this is an interesting new groundbreaking that we've never done before, but we are practicing social distancing and no handshakes. We're fist bumping today, and what a beautiful day to be out for a groundbreaking. I couldn't think of a better day. Rich, you did a great job ordering the weather, and it's just great to be here today. This truly is a historic day for AGC of Utah. To think about what is happening today is truly remarkable. I'm Darren Zwick. I'm the president of Zwick Construction Company. I'm also the chairman of AGC of Utah for 2020. So I'm truly honored to participate in this with you today and to conduct the services of this ceremony today. So thank you for bearing with me and allowing me to get us through this. I promise to get you out of here quickly. I know it's hot, but again, just want to give everybody a warm welcoming for being here. And I want to welcome all those who are watching virtually. Thank you for tuning in and being part of this. We're grateful that you're here with us as well. Let me give a special thanks to our distinguished guests who are here with us today. And we are very grateful that you would come and participate with us. I'm going to read their names, and what I would ask that you do is, as I read your name, please stand up and look back towards the cameras so that all those watching virtually can see you and see your face. So I'll read your names, and then when I finish reading the names, we'll hold our applause until the end, the last name. So please stand and look towards the camera, and then you can sit down. Ron Bigelow, Mayor of West Valley City. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. Karen Main, Senator, Utah State Senate Minority Leader. Thank you, Senator. Gordon Reynolds, Director of Trades, Mountain Land Technical College. Jim Russell, Director of the Division of Facility, Construction and Management. Carlos Braceras, Executive Director of Utah Department of Transportation. Jason Mon, Commissioner of the Utah Labor Commission. Melissa Stark, Commissioner of Apprenticeship Programs, Department of Workforce Services. And Cameron Roop, Director of the Utah Division of Occupational Safety and Health. Please join me in giving our distinguished guests a round of applause. Thank you again so much for being with us today and for all of your support that you all provide AGC of Utah. We really, really appreciate it. I also want to express thanks to our Groundbreaking Taskforce, they have done an incredible job putting this event together. This is a unique event, if you think about it, and they've just done a remarkable job so that we could all be here and make this day a reality. So let me read their names, and again, we'll hold our applause until after. Sydney Jakes with Jakes & Associate, who's chaired our task force committee. Steve Theobald, Stout Building Contractors. Julie Warnick with Clyde Companies. Alan Rindlisbacher, EDC of Utah. Belinda Van Fleet, Smart Trades. Cindy Lunington with Smart Trades. Shantae Dorsey, Smart Trades. Heather Johnson, CSDZ. Melissa Camp, AGC of Utah. And Mikkel Costley, AGC of Utah. Please join me in thanking our task force. There are three others that deserve a special thanks that I want to recognize for being here and for everything that they've done to make this really come together. Doug Welling with Jacobson Construction. Doug, raise your hand. Eric Calder with Zwick Construction, raise your hand. Terry Wright, where's Terry? Terry, raise your hand. These gentlemen have been instrumental in making this come together today and making sure that the numbers are where they need to be and the budgets are where they need to be and that we're on schedule and everything else. So please join me in giving them a round of applause. We have some wonderful speakers. We'll be brief today, but we have some wonderful speakers, and I don't want to take much time myself, but I do want to say just a couple of things before I introduce our speakers, and then we'll get on with the rest of the ceremony and get out of here. But let me just say a couple quick things about this training center and why we're here today. As far as I know, this is the only one that exists across the country. So today truly is historic to think that we have our AGC facility, which, by the way, there's a training going on as we speak in that building right there. There's so much training that goes on here, and this space is much needed. And we're so grateful to be able to have this additional space. But to think about this training center and what this represents for the state of Utah and what this represents for our industry is remarkable. The construction in Utah is alive and well. Yes, we have challenges, there's no question about it. But construction in Utah is unique from any other state, from what I can see and observe. And it's because we have amazing people like you who care about our industry. And this now becomes a new home of our future workers of this industry, of the construction in Utah. And to think about all the thousands of people, and I mean thousands of people, that are already lined up, ready to come through here and be trained on how to build Utah is incredible. It's absolutely astonishing to me that we can do this here. And so I'm very excited. I'm very passionate about this industry. I'm very passionate about the young talent that is coming into the industry and what this brings to this state. And this facility will provide just that, so that we can provide better projects all around the state of Utah. I'm grateful for the vision of AGC and its leadership. I'm grateful for the vision of our board of directors at AGC, and I want to recognize all the members of the board of AGC. I'm not going to read all of their names, but I want them all to know how much I appreciate their amazing work and what they do for this great state and for this great association. I definitely want to recognize and thank the staff at AGC. They are incredible, and like I said, this doesn't happen anywhere else, and it's happened here because of the leadership that AGC has. Our staff people, Rich Thorne, Joey, and Melissa specifically, Mikkel as well, and Taylor. Our staff is so impressive. I've had the opportunity to go out and meet other associations across the country, and to come back home and see the type of leadership we have here it's superior. It's far better than I've ever seen. And I'm so grateful for their vision, and that's again why we're here today. Let me go ahead and introduce their speaker. Yes, Doug, let's give them a hand. Thank you. Let me introduce our program, and then I'll get to that point, and then I'll come back and we'll walk through what we're going to do after that. We'll first hear from Mayor Ron Bigelow. Then we will hear from Senator Karen Main. Following the Senator Main's remarks, we will hear from Gordon Reynolds with MTech. Then after Gordon Reynolds, we will hear from Sydney Jakes, a member of our board of AGC of Utah. Following Sydney, Scott Oakleberry, who's the vice chair of our board, will speak to us for just a couple of minutes. And then following Scott, we'll hear from Joey Gilbert, Vice President of AGC, and then Rich Thorne, our President and CEO, will be our concluding speaker. We'll get to that point, and then I'll come up and we'll wrap up the meeting. So, Mayor Bigelow.
Well, first of all, welcome to West Valley City. Certainly we appreciate having Associated General Contractors building this facility here. A couple of things I want to mention to you. My father, I grew up in a small town. He was the town handyman. And he learned by apprenticeship to do carpentry, to do whatever he needed to do. He farmed on the side, and back in those days you could do that. But the world changed. And nowadays, for carpentry, for roofing, for plumbing, those days he built his own home. It worked out fairly well. But nowadays, because of safety, because of practicality, because of quality, we need people who are skilled in the trades. I've had a number of, when I worked in the governor's office, intense discussions with the governor. We had a lot of fun because I actually told him what was going on, which really at times frustrated him. He wanted me to just be nice and say whatever you want, Governor. But I told him what was really happening, and one of those was a focus on education and training that did not come from a four-year university. It was very difficult to get him to include in his focus at times the training that should be a very major part of our society. And I know Bridgerland is here, Utah College of Applied Technology. A lot of fun over the years working with that. And I also worked with our local high schools, encouraging their training and working with business, and to have programs that got people great paying jobs that were not necessarily doctor, attorney, so forth. Now, there's nothing wrong with doctors and attorneys. Well, nothing wrong with doctors. But we need skilled people. We need people, and they are great jobs. There are great things that they do in our community. This country was built by workers. Yeah, there were doctors, there were attorneys, there were bankers, but the roads, the buildings, the railroads, everything was built by workers. And those workers are literally the backbone of our country. To get skilled laborers is a great thing that we can do in our society, and so having this facility here, it's in the right place. We are very supportive of the concept of what is being done here. And with that, I'll just say thank you very much for being here, and thank you for being a part of West Valley.
Ooh, I'm short, if you hadn't noticed. That's a joke. Okay, thanks. Thank you so very much for letting me speak with you today. I have great heart for Associated General Contractors. I have passed many pieces of legislation dealing with safety on the job, partnering with workers' compensation, many pieces of legislation for making sure that companies, good companies are celebrated, that we take care of the craft of construction, to make sure the skilled workers are trained. And who do I come to first? I come to Rich Thorne. I come to Associated General Contractors. I have met with you several times. Maybe to some of you I'm familiar. I've come to your meetings and pleaded my case and said, please help me. You are the giants of the community. You build, you construct, and you elevate our economic posture in the state and in the world. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. This facility, I've been dinging this bell ever since I've been a senator, and even longer I've had experience with skilled workers. We want skilled workers, but what we want is highly skilled workers. And there's a difference. You can have a skilled worker that does the job and does it well, but a highly skilled worker, those that come back again and again. There's new techniques, there's new skills, there's new way of doing things, and that's what this facility does. It takes those skilled people and it makes them smarter. It makes them elevated in their job, and guess what? When you know more, you make more. And when you know more, you make more, then your companies are solvent. You can do it faster. I'll tell you the word that makes every contractor shake: change orders. We don't like them. They cost a lot of money. And if you have people doing the job, you don't have to go back again. And that's what we celebrate here today. We want to make sure our workforce is highly skilled, elevated, and goes back again to have more skills to keep up with technology. Construction is our economic energy and engine for the state of Utah. I want you to be ever vigilant, especially when we're in this downturn. Make sure you protect your trade. Go to your legislators, because what do they cut? Where did they go first? What's easiest to cut? Building. I have fought for that just recently, Thursday. Rather than cutting, let's bond. Let's make sure what's happening now continues, because we have a lot of construction, but that comes from previous years. Those things are lined in place. We need to make sure now we plan for the future and give you the ability to build as years goes on, because that's what construction is. Don't let them be short-sighted. Don't let them think today. Yes, we have a lot of construction, but where did that come from? That came from a few years ago. And Rich can probably make sure I'm correct. For one engineer, there's 9 people to make it happen. Is that correct? The ratio. So we got a lot of thinkers, and we need the thinkers, but we need the doers. I can sit and think about a whole bunch of good stuff, but I need somebody to make it happen. So back to what I hope that you'll take to heart. Make sure you talk to your legislators. Make sure you have pressure on them to make our industry work. And my cry is always safety on the job. Safety on the job. I'll just have one story. I passed legislation that pertained to safety on the job and making sure your companies have safe practices. Many. And I was up to an energy conference up in the Vernal, and I was walking through the grounds, and like 7 in the morning. I was drinking a cup of coffee like I could really wake up, and I went through a construction site, and I'll tell you the name is Layton, and they had all the workers in a big circle, and they were getting they were limbering up. They were doing this and they were doing that, and they were bending and they were twitching, and the superintendent was showing them how to, be safe on the job, make sure they're limber. And I says, I am so glad. I didn't tell them that I passed legislation to make this happen. And I said, I'm so glad you guys are practicing safety. And he looked at me like, what? And he says, well, don't you know that we'll get hurt on the job if we don't limber up, you not smart person? And I was so happy that I walked away, that they were practicing good safety habits. And thank you. That's my only story. I know you're laughing, but I can't tell. But thank you so much for inviting me. My good friend, very much, Jim, that takes care of business for the state. And you have the administration for the Department of Labor. They are your friends. I work with them often to make your engine, to make your economy robust, to make your industry robust. So thank you so much.
I'll put this back up here. It's my distinct privilege to represent Mountainland Technical College at this event, and I would like to begin by saying we're coming up on a decade of partnership with AGC in administering their educational programs, and it has been a wonderful partnership for us. The people at AGC, from Rich Thorne, Taylor Smith, everybody is just fantastic to work with, and we really enjoy working with them and being able to offer these programs to your employees and their students, and so we're privileged to be a part of that. I'd just like to say that over the last several years in my capacity as the Director of Trades, I've been able to attend the graduation ceremonies for these student employees of yours. And I'll tell you, to have a purpose-built facility like this that is really going to address specific needs for the training of these men and women is fantastic. We're so excited for AGC and for the instructors that participate, but especially for the individuals, because I'll tell you, as I sit there at these graduation ceremonies and these individuals are called up and they receive their certificate, their journeyman certificate, and they are recognized for their accomplishment. Because if you think about it, this is basically a degree in the trade, in the construction trades. And it means a lot. For some of these individuals, it's the only time they're going to complete a program, and I'll tell you what, to see the pride in their faces and to see their spouses that attend with them and the joy and the opportunity that it presents for them to better their lives and to provide a good living for their families is just, that's what this is all about. And so we want to congratulate AGC on this accomplishment, being able to break ground for this building and to get this facility built and to meet the needs of the individuals who come through these programs. Thank you.
On January 28th, I was doing a project in Japan for the U.S. Navy. On January 29th, my husband and I flew to Hong Kong because I wanted to go to Hong Kong Disney. When we went to buy our tickets, guess what? Hong Kong Disney was closed. We started to learn about this thing called a virus. Every day as we went in and out of our hotel, they took our temperature. Little did we know what was coming. In the past 6 months, our communities, our world, have seen a bigger change than we've seen in decades. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about a positive change. Today, I want to challenge each of you to join with us as we come together and unite in bringing more pride back to the construction industry. Not too long ago, well, back when it was still in session, there was a story on the news about a people that had a picture, and it was called 3 strikes. On the 3rd strike, if you had gotten in trouble 3 times, on the 3rd strike, the punishment was that you had to go to carpentry class and learn about construction. This has to stop. This is an industry that people need to know what a great place this is. I am an advocate for the construction industry. I lovingly call them my human hard hats. I honestly believe that it's time for us to come together and to tell the world what a great industry this is. Now, as I've worked on the Workforce Development Committee and on this project, I have 7 Ps. I'm not going to share them all with you today, but one of those Ps is public relations. We have not done a great job as an industry, and nobody else is going to do this for us. So it's time for us to tell the story. As I thought about this, I thought, what a perfect time. We're building a new building so that we can bring in more people and train them so that they can help us build Utah. So today we're launching, in conjunction with this, we're launching a new public relations campaign called We Build Utah. And I want to challenge each of you to come together and to help us do this. If we come together and our companies come together and the employees in our companies come together, we can make a difference. The potential people that we're trying to reach, guess where they are? They're all on social media. We have to be on social media. We have to be sharing our projects. We have to be sharing how much fun this is. We have to share this with those people. As I started this passion a few years ago, I called a good friend of mine named Jeff Taylor, and he's the president of Perry Homes. And when I called him and I talked to him about this and what could we do, he said, Sid, this is the bottom line. I know you have 3 daughters. If one of your daughters brought home a boyfriend and he said, I'm not going to college, I'm just going to work in the trades, I know you would be thinking to yourself, oh, this guy, he's not good enough for my daughter. My daughter deserves someone that goes to college. At that point in time, I said to my friend Jeff, I said, you know what? A few years ago, I had that mindset, but my mindset has changed. I have worked on these projects. I've seen how smart these people are, and I don't have a problem with that. Well, guess what? Fast forward 4 years. My daughter Nikki has a boyfriend right now. His name is Sterling. We met Sterling. He said, I went to MTech Technical College. I'm not going to college. I work in the trades. Last month, Sterling, 23 years old, bought his first home. He put $30,000 down. Had Sterling spent the last 4 years and was an average number, he would be $30,000 in debt coming out of college. These are the stories that we need to tell. We have awesome people in our industry. I beg you, I plead with you, please join together with us so that we can get the story out, so that we can show the people, the parents, the counselors, that it's not people that aren't smart enough to go to college that are building their roads, their bridges, their hospitals, their schools. These are smart people that work hard, and we build Utah.
Thank you, Sid. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here and for tuning in virtually, those of you who are doing that. My name is Scott Oakleberry. I'm the Vice Chair of the Associated General Contractors of Utah, and I'm the President of Sunrock Corporation. It's a privilege to be here today, all of us, to celebrate the beginning of this new facility, and my comments generally ditto a lot of what's been said by the previous speakers, celebrating this great industry and the craftsmen and craftswomen who will be trained in this facility to continue to perpetuate the great contribution of the construction industry. When people ask me what I do for a living, I say I work in construction, and they ask more about that, and sometimes they'll say, what drew you into construction in the first place? And my response to them usually is something like this. What drew me into construction was that I like to build things, I like to work with my hands, and I really liked the big equipment that was around construction sites, cranes and bulldozers and excavators and things like what you see behind me, and that drew me into it. But the allure of that normalized after I was in the industry for a while, and so now I say, but you know what keeps me in construction now and what gives me a passion for it is the product of construction. And the products of construction are what you see all around us. We saw the train go by, we see cars going by, we see planes going to the airport. We look around and we see buildings where people work. If you drive down the road, you see hospitals and churches and homes and shopping centers, and all of those things are the product of this industry. The buildings and the infrastructure of our community, of our state, of our nation are really the heartbeat of our lives. And most people take those things for granted. They just go to those places and they drive on the road and they turn on the water or they flush the toilet or whatever those things are, and they don't think that much about what's behind it. Taking those things for granted is not what we're about. We're about bringing those things to the people of our community and of our state. And those things are exciting. They're the heartbeat of the engine of our economy, and I don't want to take those things for granted. This association is a group of organizations and suppliers and firms and so forth that all share that passion of construction. And they've all contributed to make this training facility happen. And why is that? Because the real heartbeat of this industry is not the owners of the companies and that, but it's the craftsmen and the craftswomen who actually build things, who run equipment and who swing a hammer and who weld things and install things and paint things, and that is the true heartbeat of this industry that produces a product that almost everybody else takes for granted, but that we love and have a passion for. And so this training facility continues that heartbeat of helping to allure new young people into this industry, to teach them how to use the skill and responsibility and integrity that are critical for good quality construction, and they learn how to do it safely. And I can't think of anything more important than what we are doing here to produce a facility that for years and decades to come will help to continue that heartbeat of those people who use their hands and their knowledge and their training every day to make this infrastructure and this economy continue to go. And it's okay that most people take what we do for granted, but because we know what it is, we know how important it is, and we take great pride in our contribution to it. So thank you for being here today to celebrate that cause, and I appreciate everybody's support. Thank you very much.
In April of 1922, a small group of contractors met at the historic Hotel Utah in downtown Salt Lake, which is now the Joseph Smith Memorial Building. At that historic meeting of that small handful of contractors, they laid the foundation for the Associated General Contractors. This year here, we are approaching or close to our 100-year anniversary, and so to have a new training facility to facilitate not only those that are going to be coming into the industry, but to commemorate that 100 years is quite an accomplishment. I don't think those founding fathers of the AGC would have ever imagined not only to have a beautiful headquarters that we have adjacent to the campus that we have here, but to add a training facility to that is quite an accomplishment. One thing that I truly admire about contractors is that when they have a problem or they see an issue, they get to work and they get to roll up their sleeves and they solve the problem and the challenge. As I look at the need of the construction industry, one of the forefront issues that the industry faces is having a qualified and skilled workforce. And as we talked about that as an association, the AGC Board of Directors decided, hey, let's find a solution. And that solution is a construction of a new 16,000 square foot facility to do just that. Benjamin Franklin once said, tell me something and I will forget. Teach me something and I may remember. Involve me and I will learn. With the challenges that we have with the dismantling of the voc ed programs within high schools, the diminishing individuals going into apprenticeship training programs, and then the high schools really pushing individuals towards a college education. AGC has again rolled up their sleeves, found a solution, and is building a new training center to meet that demand and need, not only now but in the future. As it has been said, I'd like to thank, of course, the AGC Board of Directors, their foresight and their wisdom in building this facility, and also our partners, both on a civic and local level, and all of the folks that we work with in state and local governments, and of course our partners with the MATC. Thank you.
Well, we're pretty close to the finish line, and thank you all for being here. What a great day. Senator Maine, we're going to put you in charge of weather from now on. You good with that? Okay, great. Well, let's see. Where does the guy begin? Look around the crowd, folks. This is the future of Utah's construction industry. All committed to doing something good for the good of the cause, for the betterment of the industry. And who'd have thought back in 1918 that this would have begun? You know, a lot of people could be here, and we want to thank a lot of people, and we all know why we're here. We're going to build a new facility. When I say we, that is you, the members of AGC. This doesn't happen very often, folks, but look just to the north of us. Your organization, your board of directors, your members are building a campus dedicated to construction right here in West Valley City that will stand for the next 98 years and serve the next 98 years of people that have chosen this industry as their career of choice. Do we build Utah? Absolutely we do. Are we committed to that into the future? Absolutely we are. And the only way we're able to do it is because of dedicated men and women who believe in AGC's slogan of skill, integrity, and responsibility. This is a project that just didn't happen overnight. This vision started over 12 years ago when a group of our members got together and said, we need a new headquarters. More steps, more years have happened, and now look behind us, you'll see another beautiful new building. I also want to thank our board, our exec committee, the boards of yesteryear that have gone through and planted the seeds, laid the foundation for us to be where we're at. I also want to thank our AGC of America partners. We're part of an organization and in the truest sense of partner with an association headquartered in Washington, D.C. that looks out after our best interest. They do what we can't do on a local level, and so we will forever be grateful to them as well. The future is bright for Utah's construction industry. It's become even brighter with the groundbreaking here today. We anticipate great things happening, and we appreciate your support in being here. For the folks on Capitol Hill and other government leadership positions, many of those are here with us today. Mayor Bigelow, we say thank you so much for your leadership, your support, and for being here. Now, I'm going to say thanks in closing. I'm going to turn the time back over to Chairman Zwick. He's going to direct traffic for a few minutes. As he's walking up here, I want to give one last shout out to the people I work with every day. The AGC staff is second to none. I tell people loud and proud that I've got the best job ever because I work with people every day that believe in what they're doing, and I surround myself with AGC members that likewise believe in what they're doing. So thank you for the opportunity to serve, and we look forward to the future together. Thank you. Chairman Zwick.
Thank you to our speakers today. Those were wonderful, and we really appreciate you being here. What a great day it is. The only thing I can think that's going to be better is when we're all here again for the ribbon cutting and dedication of this building. That's going to be an even better day than today. And it's hard to get better than today, but looking forward to that as well. I failed to mention just two other people. Mustache for their power, who's behind us here, for going live with us today and making sure everybody could see the broadcast. I want to thank them for their services. I also want to thank Tom Morgan. Tom is our immediate past chair. He's really kind of my boss. I look at him that way. But the interesting thing is Tom and Doug Welling and a bunch of others did all the work to get us to the point. I did absolutely nothing, but yet I'm up here standing conducting this meeting as if I did all the work. I didn't do anything. So they did all the work, and I want to thank them for that. Tom, thank you. And Doug. Now we're going to move to our actual breaking the ground part of the ceremony. So what we'd like to have is all the board members come up here and get on a shovel. Those speakers that spoke today, please come and get on a shovel. And the others that I spoke to, please come up and get on a shovel, and we'll do a break. We'll move some dirt. Come on up. Eric, Doug, get up here. Terry, get up here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to lead this. Stand right here. Tell everybody so we're synchronized to go down, hold, and turn. Yeah. Well done. Let me just close now. Again, thanking everybody for being here. And just a couple little housekeeping things on your way out. Please don't forget there's a box lunch for everybody and a little memento with a little shovel that says "We Build Utah." You all get one of those. Please take one of those with you and have a great rest of your day. And thank you again for being here. Congratulations, AGC Utah.